Hi guys, I'm Lina Nielsen and I'm going to take you through a rejuvenating yoga flow. So if you experience heavy legs at certain points in your menstrual cycle, then this flow will be perfect for you. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to get started lying down on our backs, and I'd probably advise being close to a wall for our first pose. I'm going to do it without a wall so that you can still see me. So we're going to come to lie down on our backs, and if you are next to a wall, you're just going to lift up your legs and rest them up on a wall. If you are not next to a wall, I'm just going to simply hug my legs in just to rest my legs. So we're going to elevate our legs for about 90 seconds. So the reason that I'm doing this is because it's quite similar to having sort of like an ice bath, or if you're used to using kind of like recovery pumps. So we're almost going to kind of flush out all of the blood that's in our legs at the moment. It's going to end up constricting the blood vessels. And then we're going to come to bring our legs down, and you're just going to get this wave of new blood flushing through the legs. So it's almost going to kind of rejuvenate and kind of recover from the get-go in this flow. So when your legs are lifted, try to relax the toes. If you're not next to a wall, try as hard as you can to stop engaging all of the muscles in your legs. So that's why I would say hug the knees slightly in. If you're on a wall, so try to see if you can soften through the inner thighs, through the quads, through the outer glutes and the outer hips. So a few more breaths here, and we're just going to try to get in tune with the breath as well. So focus on slow inhales. And with the exhales, almost just let them go. So we're not too controlling with the breath today. We kind of want to almost relax with this flow. We're going to try to recover not only the legs, but when we recover the legs, we tend to find recovery elsewhere as well. The whole body is connected. So a few more breaths here with our raised legs. And you might already start to feel these sensations. So your feet might start getting cold. You might start to feel a little bit of tingling. That's just signs that, there's not really much blood flowing to that area. Don't panic, we'll be okay. We will start to flush new blood through the legs and through the feet in just a little bit. We're going to stay here for a little bit longer. A few more breaths. So you'll be happy to know that we won't actually be standing at all in this flow. So we're just going to keep everything on the mat. We're going to keep everything seated and lying down. So if you are getting cold, or you have a tendency to get cold, probably now is the best time to, actually after we get out of these poses, maybe grab a jumper or thicker layers. We will still create some heat, but if you do get cold, then you might have to bear that in mind. So we probably have stayed here for a little bit. So if you are on the wall, make your way away from the wall, and we're just going to slowly bring the feet down to the mat. You want the heels, the balls, the toes to connect to the mat, and you're going to feel, I straight away felt all the blood rushing to my feet. And we're slowly just going to come up to seated. Okay, so once you're here, I'm just going to face you, but you can keep facing forward on your mat. We're going to take the feet quite wide, and we're going to start to drop one knee at a time inside. So this is a nice opener for the hips. So try to keep the sit bones rooted to the floor as you drop one knee down towards the other leg. And we're going to do this for a few movements. So this is going to start to create space in the hip. I did this earlier and my hip cracked so loudly, but it felt very, very good. We're just going to create some space in the hips because we will be doing some hip opening flows, some poses rather. So it's always nice to kind of introduce that movement into the hips before we start twisting and turning and stretching and elongating and all of that. So a few more movements here. I like to call these bear sits, or 1990. 1990 is actually where we take both out, but staying here for a few more movements. Good. And then slowly and gently, we're just going to start to cross the legs, and we're going to roll forward to our tabletop position. So once you're in tabletop, I just want you to take the knees out slightly wider than hips distance. And then we're going to come up to standing, and I want you to roll the calves away from the legs. And you're going to come to sit inside of your feet. So they're going to sit right where your glutes are. So if at any point this gets too uncomfortable in the calves, come out of it, let the blood flush through, and then come to sit down. So we're going to start to stretch out through the feet first. So we're going to push into the floor with tented fingertips. I say tented because they look like tents. I say fingertips. And we're going to lift the left knee up first. The idea here is that we're stretching the front of the foot through the ankle. So lift it as high as flexibility allows and then drop it down. Then we're going to go with the right knee. So probably inhale, reach up with the right knee and you feel the stretch through the front of the right ankle and release. We're going to go one more each side. So as you inhale, left knee lifts up to the sky, really stretching through the front of the foot. Good, and as you exhale, release. One more through the right side and then we can allow the blood to flow through the calves. And exhale. We're going to roll forward to tabletop and we're just going to tap out the feet just to get the blood flowing. We're going to stretch the bottom of the feet next. So I want you to tuck the toes under as far as they can go, so almost reaching the toes forwards and then come to sit onto your heels. You might straight away already start to feel this in the Achilles, in the plantar fascia that runs down the bottom of your feet. But if you don't, you come to sit onto the heels, pushing the weight down through the heels, and you'll feel this through the Achilles, through all these nice tendons that run through the feet. Again, we don't really give our feet enough attention. You know, we're on our feet all the time, especially if you're running or doing HIIT circuits. So it's always nice to kind of stretch them out. So we're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. If it gets too uncomfortable, always come back to tabletop and tap out the feet. But try and stay with me here. You're going to feel so lovely once we get out of this. So 2 more breaths. Exhale. If you can, just see if you can almost shift the weight back through the heels, and that's going to stretch out the Achilles and the plantar fascia just a little bit more. 1 more breath. You're doing really well. You're probably going to feel a little bit of pain. Exhale, and then roll forward to tabletop, and we're going to tap out the feet once again. Good work. And then slowly we're going to take the knees out just slightly wider than hips distance once more. Come to sit in between the feet once again. And then this time we're going to take the hands behind our feet and start to roll back. So if you're on your hands and you're already feeling this in your quads, stay here. If you feel like you want a little bit more of a quad stretch, you can come down to the elbows, try to keep the knees on the mat. And again, if you're here and you feel like, oh, I'm not really feeling much of a quad stretch, you can come to lie down on your back. So this is hero pose or reclined hero pose. So the idea here is to engage. So really push the knees down, and you'll almost feel the hips lifting, and you're going to stretch through the hip flexors and the quads. We're going to stay for 1 more breath wherever you are. And exhale. Good. As you next inhale, if you're lying down or on your elbows, just come up to seated. And again, we're going to roll to tabletop and just let the blood flow through the calves. So maybe tap the feet out. Good. Staying here in tabletop. We're going to go through 1 cat-cow just to open up through the spine before we go into our next few poses. So as you inhale, we're just going to drop the belly, drop the spine, looking up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, rounding the spine, pushing the floor away, and then dropping the head down. Maybe shake yes and shake no. Good. Slowly come back to our neutral tabletop, so nice straight spine. And as you exhale, just take the right foot outside of the right hand. So it's going to reach the outer edge of your mat. Good. And we're going to slowly come into this lizard pose. So slowly and gently with the palms flat on the mat, we're going to rock forwards and backwards. You're going to feel this in the left hip flexors and maybe inside of the left hip flexor or the left thigh. Rocking it forwards and backwards just to create some space. Slowly and gently, we're going to take the right hand towards the inside of the right knee. I'm just going to face the front so that you can see. And as you exhale, I just want you to push the right knee away from you, coming onto the knife edge of your right foot. You'll feel this outside of the right glutes. Staying here in this open lizard pose. Good. As you exhale, just slowly bring that knee back in. Good. Take an inhale here, reach forwards with the chest. And as you exhale, we're going to come to straighten that front leg into a half split. You can lift the toes off the mat as well if you want a little bit more of a calf stretch. Good. We're going to go through those same movements 3 times. So as we inhale, we're going to roll back to this low lizard pose, palms flat on the mat. And as we exhale, right hand to the inside of the right knee and push the knee away from you, coming onto the knife edge of your right foot. Good. Inhale, bring that knee back to center, hands inside of the right foot. And as you exhale, we extend the right leg, half split, stretching out the hamstrings. Toes can lift as well, almost flexing the feet to feel this in the calves. 1 more time. Inhale, roll forwards to lizard, low lizard rather. Exhale, right hand to the right knee, push the knee away from you. Good. Inhale, bring that right knee back to center, hands inside of the right foot. And exhale, we straighten the leg into our half splits, maybe toes lift as well. Good. As we inhale, we come back to this low lunge. This time I want you to flex the back feet, and as we exhale, left knee lifts off of the mat into our full lizard pose. This is quite intense for the left hip flexor, so if it's too uncomfortable, you can always feel free to come back down into this low lizard. Good. So we're going to find another flow through this side. So this time as we inhale, I just want you to walk the hands towards the left side of your mat, and we're going to come to sink down into this side lunge, or ninja lunge as I like to call it. The left toes are going to lift off of the mat, and you're going to feel a nice stretch through the adductors or the groin of that left leg. Good. As we inhale, we walk ourselves back to center. Bring both hands inside of the right foot. And as we exhale, we twist. So the right arm is going to lift up as we twist to the right into a nice, easy twist, gazing up at the right thumb. So that flow we're going to do 3 times. So as we inhale, come back to high lizard. Exhale, we find ninja lunge. Good. Inhale, we come back to lizard. Exhale, easy twist. Good. 2 more times. Inhale, lizard. Exhale, ninja lunge. Maybe see if you can sink a little bit deeper with every round. Good. Inhale, we come back up to find below lizard. You'll feel this in the hip flexors. Exhale, easy twist. Feel this in the right glutes. 1 more time. Inhale into lizard. Maybe sink into the left hip flexors. Exhale, ninja lunge, back toes lift. Nice. Inhale, we come back to lizard. Exhale, easy twist. Good. Inhale, we make our way back to lizard. This time I want you to bring the right hand outside of the right foot, and we're going to start to heel toe the right foot towards the left hand. Good. Once you're there, we're going to drop the right knee, and you might straight away let that right foot swing in. Untuck the back toes. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So we're going to take this quite passively. But first I want you to inhale, create length through the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to start to fold. So you might come onto your elbows, and that might be good enough for you. Or if you feel comfortable, bring your forearms to stack one on top of the other, and we're going to rest the forehead down onto the forearms. Wherever you are, we're going to stay for 5 breaths. Okay. Now I say 5 because this is one of those poses where your body is going to try to fight and say, get out of this pose, it's really uncomfortable. We're stretching out a lot of the external rotators, so the deep 6 muscles that sit inside, outside of our glutes. So if you're one of those people that feels quite a tingling sensation that goes down your legs, you might have what's known as piriformis syndrome, where the piriformis, which is one of the external rotators, pinches on the sciatic nerve, and you feel this really uncomfortable kind of electric pulse going down your leg. This pose works wonders for if you feel those kind of sensations. So 2 more breaths. And almost see if you can start to surrender. So allow the inner thigh on that right leg to soften. Try to make sure the hips are squared, so try not to sink too much to the right. 1 more full breath. And exhale. Nice work. As we inhale, we're going to make our way up to the palms if you are on your forearms. And as we exhale, we're just going to slowly take that right leg back into the tabletop. Maybe give it a quick shake. That's quite an intense stretch that we just did. And we're going to go through 1 cat-cow to almost reset before we find that flow through the other side. So as we inhale, belly drops, spine drops, squeeze the shoulder blades, look up. And as we exhale, pushing the floor away, arching the back, head drops down, find cat pose. As we inhale, come back to neutral tabletop. And as we exhale, take that left foot outside of the left hand. Good. Low lizard lunge, or lizard pose rather. Good. So as we inhale, just kind of almost sinking into this pose here. And as we exhale, we take the left hand inside of the left knee. We're just going to push the knee away from you. You'll feel this again in those external rotators, so the side of the glute. Good. We're going to find that nice flow. So inhale, we come back to center. Good work. And as we exhale, straighten in that front leg, half splits. So maybe for the first time that we do this, you keep the toes on the floor just to stretch out the hamstring first. Good, and we're going to find those 2 poses 3 more times. So as we inhale, roll back to low lizard. As we exhale, left hand inside of the left knee, push the knee away. Good, so with every round, maybe start off slow and then start to deepen those 2 poses. So as we inhale, bring back to low lizard. Exhale, half splits. We straighten the front leg. Remember, both hands are inside of that left foot. Maybe the toes lift on this round, maybe not. As we inhale, come back to low lizard. Exhale, left hand to knee, push the knee away. So you might start to feel it open up, so maybe push a little bit deeper, coming onto the knife edge of your left foot. Inhale, bring back to center. Left hand sits inside of the left foot. Exhale, half splits. We straighten that front leg. Toes lift perhaps. If you feel super open, maybe you flex the foot so toes shift towards your body. You're going to feel the calf stretching. Inhale, we go 1 more, low lizard. Exhale, we push the knee away. Good work, 1 more pose. Inhale, we bring ourselves back to center. And as we exhale, half splits. Nice work. We're going to find that deeper pose now. So as we inhale, come back to low lizard. We're going to flex the back foot. And as we exhale, we lift up into high lizard. You're going to feel the right hip flexors, maybe inside of the right hip flexor, so the sartorius muscles start to open. Good. So as we inhale, maybe chest lifts. As we exhale, we're going to walk the hands towards the right side of the mat, coming into ninja lunge on this side. Remember, the back toes lift, feeling the adductors and the right groin open. Inhale, we come back to high lizard. And as we exhale this time, left hand shifts to the ceiling, easy twist, gazing up at the left hand. So we're going to go through those 2 poses 3 more times, just as we did on the other side. So as we inhale, high lizard, maybe sink into the right hip. Exhale, ninja lunge, toes lift. Good. Inhale, high lizard. Exhale, easy twist. Good, 2 more. You might feel yourself opening up with each round. Maybe you twist a little bit further. Inhale, high lizard. Exhale, ninja lunge. Good, we go 1 more. Inhale, we roll ourselves back to high lizard. Maybe sink into that right hip a little bit more. Exhale, easy twist. Maybe you twist a little bit further. Open out the chest to the sky. Good. Inhale, we come back to lizard pose. This time you take the left hand outside of the left foot and you heel toe the left foot towards the right hand. Once it's there, we're going to drop the left knee down. Maybe that left foot swings in slightly. Reach back with the back foot, preparing for our pigeon pose on this side. So if you're hearing it's good enough for you, you stay on your palms. If you feel good, maybe come down into the elbows. Try to keep the hips squared. And then again, if it's available to you, perhaps you get both forearms stacked on top of each other and forehead rests down onto the forearms. 5 full breaths, wherever you are. So again, you're going to feel this in those deep external rotators. And you might notice that one side feels a little bit harder than the other. For me, that's my left side. And I actually used to experience sciatica down my left leg. And I got rid of it with a few stretches such as pigeon pose. So it does work wonders for those kind of sensations if you are feeling them. Good. 2 more breaths. And again, try to almost find that sense of surrender. So your body is fighting this pose. We don't usually find poses or our bodies in these kind of positions. So your body is probably going to say, hey, let's not do this. It doesn't feel good. But try to focus on the exhales and release into this pose. And you're going to feel great afterwards, I promise. 1 more. Last exhale, maybe sigh out. Nice work. As we inhale, if you're on your forearms, come up to your palms. And this time as we exhale, we're going to shift the weight onto the left glute. And we're going to bring both legs out in front of us, maybe give a quick shake. I'm just going to come to face you. So we're going to find a wide-legged forward fold first. So we're going to take our legs out as far as flexibility allows. So if it's here, that's completely fine. If you're here, if you're in a box split, again, that's completely fine. I'm going to stay in about a 45-degree angle. So we're just going to find a nice passive, revolved, wide-legged forward fold. So this is going to help our hips and the lower back, which is connected to tired legs. So I want you to bring the left forearm to the left thigh. And as we inhale, right hand swings up to the ceiling. And as we exhale, nice side stretch, sinking into the left leg. Stay here for an inhale and exhale. Nice. As we inhale, we come back up to center. This time, bring the right forearm to the right thigh. And as we exhale, left arm up and over. Try to feel the sensation in the left side of the lower back. Trying to stretch out the quadratus lumborum, the QL muscle that runs kind of towards the side of your spine and the side of your body. As we inhale, we come back up. We're going to find a normal wide-legged forward fold. So as we exhale, we just fold forward. So if you can, bring the elbows down to the floor. If you're super flexible, perhaps you want to find a nice straddle pose, which is where you're folded forward with the arms extended. And if it's too much for you, you can always bring a cushion or a pillow to rest your elbows on. And we're just going to allow gravity to open out the hips here. Good. So you can allow the legs to be passive, so they don't have to be dorsiflexed. Usually I would say dorsiflex the legs, the feet rather, to have a nice active stretch. But legs are tired. We're going to keep everything passive. We're going to keep everything nice and gentle. So 2 more full breaths here in wide-legged forward fold. Maybe if you can, sink a little bit deeper with every exhale. Maybe working towards that straddle pose. 1 more breath. Take an inhale. And exhale, release. Okay, we're going to find an intense hip opener now. So as we inhale, we come up to seated. I want you to bring the right shin parallel to the top of your mat. So I'm sideways here, but imagine you're on the top of your mat. The right shin is going to be parallel. So once you're here, we're going to bring the left ankle to stack on top of the right knee. So if you're here, that's completely fine, but you want to try to see if you can drop that knee down towards the right ankle. So you might make it to here. You might be super open and make it all the way down. Mine naturally rests here. I've got quite a tight left hip, so mine is going to rest here. We're just going to stay here for 3 full breaths. And with every exhale, see if you can almost actively push down without using your hands. Push down that left knee towards the left ankle, towards the right ankle rather. And you start to almost use what's known as PNF stretching. So that's proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation stretching, which is where you start to, I know it's a very big word, you start to actively use the muscles to push down your limbs. And then when you let go, you find this even deeper stretch. So where my leg was resting before, it's almost kind of dropped down towards the right ankle. So we're going to find that through the other side. So as you inhale, just let go of the stretch, maybe shake the legs out a little bit, maybe do those bear drops again. And then this time, the left shin is going to be parallel to the top of the mat. And we're going to get the right ankle stacked on top of the left knee. So again, if you're up here, that's completely fine. We're going to work towards dropping that knee down. So inhale. And exhale, just start to soften through that thigh. So this is where my right knee sits naturally, but I'm going to work towards dropping that knee down. So inhale, see if you can use your muscles to try to force that knee down, and then exhale, we'll release. We go 2 more. Inhale, try to push the knee down, just your muscles, don't use your hands. Exhale, release. So my knee's already dropping. 1 more. Try to push down with the inhale and exhale, release. Good work. As we inhale, just letting go of this fire log pose, and then maybe just shake the legs out, do a few bear drops. Good. And slowly come to bring both legs out, extended in front of you, into our normal forward fold. So as we inhale, we rise. And as we exhale, maybe allow the knees to soften, so micro bend as you forward fold into the seated forward fold. Now this one's more intense than what you would do in a standing forward fold. We have gravity here pushing us down. So if it's too intense for the nerves that go down your legs, soften the knees. We don't want to aggravate the legs at all. We want to recover them. So try to find a comfortable position for your body, for you. 1 more inhale and exhale. Good. As we inhale, come up to seated. This time we're going to bring both feet in towards the sacrum. Try to bring them to touch. So if you're out quite far, that's completely fine. But you want to be able to reach your feet. So we're going to bring our thumbs inside of the feet, and we're just going to start to massage the plantar fascia down the bottom of our feet. So you can go gentle pushes. So again, we don't take enough care of our feet. You know, we're on them all day, every day, especially if we're exercising all the time. So it's always nice to just take a moment to look after them, give them a little bit of TLC and giving them a small massage. Good. And then slowly and gently keeping the feet where they are. As we exhale, we're going to come to lie down in our reclined butterfly position. So if this is too intense for you, you can always feel free to take our normal final resting pose, which is where the legs are extended. Otherwise, stay here in our reclined butterfly and see how long you can stay here without it being too uncomfortable. The beauty of this pose is that we don't have to do anything. We just let gravity do the work for us. So it's always nice to release the hips out, and they've been opened quite a bit through this flow. So you should find a nice, comfortable position. And again, we're going to be holding on to tension in the inner thighs. So see if you can almost surrender through that area, melting into this pose. And we can stay here for as long as we like. So this is our final position. So if you want to, you can stay for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, the rest of the day. It's completely up to you. But thank you so much for flowing with me. This is exactly where I leave you. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope your legs are feeling a little bit better. And I will see you again on the mat sometime soon.